Hi, I'm Chef Frank and this is ProtoCooks. Today we're going to make a one sheet pan meal of roasted chicken and vegetables. Most people complain they don't have a lot of time to cook at home. I'm going to show you how quick and easy this could be. You put everything onto one sheet tray or a cookie tray, throw it in the oven, and when it's done, you have a meal. I'm going to do this for about 2 people. It could probably feed 3. I have a whole chicken that I butchered. You can check out my other video on how to butcher a chicken. So I start out with just my sheet tray. I have a little bit of olive oil. I'm just going to put a little olive oil down. I'm not going to put it all. It's probably about 3 or 4 tablespoons. And I'm not worried about having too much oil on this. I want it to have a little bit of fat so that my potatoes brown. I have some just regular russet potatoes. I'm leaving the skin on. If I see any blemishes, I'll cut the blemishes off. But for the most part, I'm just going to cut these in half. And I'm going to just kind of put them in the oil a little. And put them down. This is going to kind of be the base that my chicken sits on, okay? So what's going to happen is as the chicken cooks, it's going to soak up, the potatoes on the cut side are going to soak up all the nice chicken juices. And that's what you want. Okay, so we cut our potatoes in half. And they're fairly small potatoes, they're not very big. Cut our potatoes in half, okay? And, sorry. Cut our potatoes in half, get them on the tray. I'm also using a sturdy root vegetable. If you use Brussels sprouts or you use something else, they might fall apart. I'm choosing things that are hard root vegetables that will cook kind of at the same rate. I got some carrots here, just regular everyday carrots, and I'm gonna peel them. And the way I like to peel carrots is I cut the ends off first, and then I peel them in one nice long strip. And we're gonna leave these in fairly large chunks. Okay? Now, peeling carrots is a basic skill that I assume that most people know how to do. But for the most part, I just cut my ends off and basically connect the dots so that I don't have any little pieces of skin on it, right? And I usually peel into a pile, and it's nice and clean and easy to clean up. You can put a paper towel down if you want, and just take that paper towel and pick it up and throw it out. Okay, so I have about 4 or 5 carrots here. And if you've never had roasted carrots, they're delicious. Nice and sweet, and they're gonna complement this chicken really well. Okay, so I get my carrot skins, my carrot peelings, get rid of them. Okay, and all I'm gonna do is cut these into large chunks, really large chunks. Not really large, all I'm gonna do is cut these into large chunks, right? Not too worried about how they look. Again, this is a one sheet pan meal, you don't have to be too crazy about it. Just scatter those around on the tray. Okay, and then I'm gonna cut some onions. I did another video on how to cut onions. Check my channel out to see that video, and it's just some basic techniques on how to cut onions. For this, we're gonna cut our onions in half and kind of keep them fairly large. Actually, I'll probably cut them in quarters. I'm gonna do 2 onions. I don't want any of the peels. The peels are kind of papery, gross, right? So cut the onions and peel them. Make sure you don't have any onion skins on your board. Okay, and all I'm gonna do is basically cut them these halves in half and have quarters of onions. Some of the onion is gonna stay kind of whole that you can eat it, and some of the onion is gonna kind of caramelize a little, which is good. Okay, so I just take these onions and scatter them about as well. Okay, so far, I don't know how much time this has been, but I don't think this is complicated for anyone to do, okay? So now my onion's down, I'm gonna move my board over and I'm gonna bring my chicken over. Okay, I have my onions there, a little more of the oil just over the vegetables. Okay, and I'm gonna season my vegetables. Now, this is one of the biggest mistakes home cooks make is they don't season their food. They're afraid of salt. I mean, if you have high blood pressure, you should be worried about salt, but for the most part, don't worry about it. Season your food well. And I'm going over the top, a fair amount of salt. I'm using kosher salt. Kosher salt is better than table salt. It's got big flakes. It's a little cleaner flavor than iodized salt that you use on the table. And then I'm going to use some fresh cracked black pepper. If all you have is cracked black pepper in a can, use it. I like the fresh stuff. It tastes good, okay? So now, I have some chicken parts that I've had prepped. I take these chicken parts and I'm just going to place them on top of the vegetables. Scatter them about, okay? Don't be too stressed about how they go on there, okay? The rest of the oil, so I used the oil in 3 parts, about 3 tablespoons, so a tablespoon each. Just go over the top of the chicken, okay? Again, salt, season it well. Don't be afraid of salt. Salt makes everything better. Season it really well. You can see as I season, I'm going fairly high, because if I sprinkle the salt really high, I get a good dispersion. But if I go here, I'm gonna get little blobs of salt everywhere, so just season really high. And then some black pepper. I'm gonna put this in the oven at 350 for about 35 to 40 minutes, and then check it. The chicken should get nice and brown. The vegetables should be nice and soft and soak up some of those juices. So I'm gonna put this in the oven at 350 for about 35 to 40 minutes, and then we'll have a 1 sheet pan meal. Okay, now the chicken's done, we're gonna go to the oven and get it. Still sizzling away. So the chicken got nice and brown. All the vegetables are soft. And I'm just gonna put it on a plate. You can see that the potatoes, if you look on the bottom of the potatoes, they soak up a lot of that chicken juice. It's delicious. Give us a nice couple of pieces of potatoes. Some carrots and onions. Chicken thigh and a piece of chicken breast. And that's a very hearty meal for a weeknight. 1 tray. So if you want to see more videos like this, please comment down below. Tell me what you want to see, what you want to learn, because that's what I'm going to be here for. Teach you guys how to cook. Again, a simple dinner of roast chicken with some veggies, 1 sheet tray. It literally took me 10-15 minutes to prep, maybe not even that much. Put it on a tray, left in the oven for about 35 to 40 minutes, and cook some chicken. It's a fresh, great meal. It's simple. You can swap veggies out if you want. If you don't want to use carrots, use Brussels sprouts, and maybe just add them halfway through the cooking process. But it's not difficult. You can buy chicken parts. I use chicken parts that I cut myself. You can see the link to that video down below. If you don't like thighs, buy breasts. If you don't like breasts, buy thighs. You can buy parts at the grocery store and do the same thing, and it'd probably take even less time. Super simple dinner, 1 sheet tray. Feed your family without really having to do too much work. It's time to eat.